Welcome to Behind the Badge with your hosts,
Lieutenant Ryan Williams,
and Officer Cammie Vandermolen.
your source for all things Spondy Police.
Behind the Badge, our weekly visit with the Fond du Lac Police Department in studio. Lieutenant Ryan Williams. And before we get to police talk, we got to recap the World Series.
It was probably one of the best World Series that I can remember in a very long time. Like, as far as entertainment value, unfortunately, I did find myself rooting for the Blue Jays, and was disappointed in that fact. But you still have to hand it to entertainment-wise. It was amazing.
2 games going to extra innings, including Game 7. It just does the drama, right?
Right.
It doesn't get much better than that.
And both teams, having their moments and their opportunities, and just weird things. Like, if I look back at it, the Dodgers just had a lot of, and it wasn't like lucky calls. It was just weird occurrences that went in their favor. Like being able to actually put their foot back down on the home plate so they get that person out with that ball that was stuck in the outfield. Like, all of those weird things ended up being wins, which was just, it's odd, but that's just kind of how it goes, right? Like,
baseball being baseball is how we kind of describe it. That's just the only way you can describe it.
the problem is it doesn't help, us Brewers fans' case for a salary cap, because, it wasn't the Dodgers just sweeping everybody. It was, they got to run for their money. They got some good entertainment value, and so the Brewers just got to figure it out.
There does need to be. There never will be, unfortunately. But that's why, to me, the NFL is light years ahead of everybody in popularity, because there is so much parity because of the salary cap, right?
Well, if they keep having games like that, that's gonna continue to be popular.
It did help. Yeah, it's one of the highest watched World Series in a long time.
I was in a tavern actually, and everyone was glued to the TV. Like, no one was really talking, unless they were talking about the game. They were all watching attentively on it. So it was pretty amazing.
I believe it. Now a couple more months, pitchers and catchers report.
Yeah. Yep. And we got Packers that need to get better in the meantime. So.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. So what are you talking about today?
So I mentioned I was in a tavern. Part of that was this last weekend I went on a Concern of Police Survivors retreat, and it is basically like a weekend. What Concern of Police Survivors is it's a group of people. Many of them have been directly affected with officers getting killed in the line of duty. Some people have been closely affected. So you have families of fallen officers, you have coworkers, you have people that just were affected one way or another, and they all kind of get together. In this retreat, it's kind of their meeting, their board meeting, but then they plan like activities for families to do together, and they're all like survivors, so they have that in common. Like, it's hard unless you've actually gone through something similar. It's hard to know. It's nice to be around people that have experienced something like that. So I kind of wanted to, since it's just coming off that, I just kind of want to talk about officer wellness and kind of some of the things that we've talked about it on this program before, but kind of some of the things that officers kind of go through. And me being someone that has survived through being shot in the line of duty, I guess I can attest to my story. And we've talked about it on here before, but like, my story might be unique as far as how I dealt with it. And I think everyone's story is unique on how they deal with it. So, I personally, having been shot and coming back and being alive and losing a coworker at the same time, I never really needed like extra help as far as getting over like that mentally. And I'm not saying that I'm a super person or anything like that. It's just what I learned through my travels is some people process things different, and you deal kind of how you deal, as long as you're not resorting to drugs or alcohol to deal with something. Some people just process things different ways, and I know I've talked about this before, but that's not everybody. Like, that's what's important to know. Number one, if you see someone and they're dealt with something traumatic, like, you might look at them and say, well, they're not dealing with this the right way. Well, what's the right way? Right. Like, what is the right way? Like, they don't know it's probably the first time for them too. Like, and there is no right way. There's a right way for that person. And like I said, as long as you're not hurting your body or hurting other people, that might be the right way for that person. Some people might just need to move past it, and other people may need to dwell on it, and but that helps them. I was lucky because I was put in a position where I was able to talk about it a lot. So after I was shot, starting from the hospital on, I talked about it to anybody that would listen. And I know, go imagine me talking. I know it's hard to believe, but in a way, I thought that was my therapy, and so just being able to talk about it over and over again. And then I remember being released from the hospital. So I was in the hospital for a week, and then I think it was another week I was kind of at home and getting acclimated to things. And then I eventually called our employee assistance program, which is kind of like our counseling that they provide.
Yep.
And I legitimately said this question. I said, I am not currently having problems with this, but is there something wrong with me because I'm not having problems with this? And that's how I felt. I'm like, I should be more traumatized. I should be experiencing more post-traumatic stress or something from this incident. And he just explained pretty much what I just said is everyone deals with their own way. From that same incident, and I think this is an important story, is one of the officers who, I just won't mention his name, but he was very responsible for ending that incident, like having that incident come to a conclusion. He kind of went on, just as normal people do when you get hurt, you know, and fall down, you brush the dirt off, and you just kind of move on, and that's kind of how he did it. But he kind of realized that he wasn't the same person from that incident, and he wasn't going home and acting the same to his family and, you know, his loved ones and stuff like that. He was more affected by it than he kind of let on, and he tried to make a go of it, but he did realize it was affecting more than just than it was just affecting more of his life. And he did probably the most brave thing ever is he came forward and he went to our agency and said, I'm not good. And that was for one, it was tough for our agency here because we did a lot of stuff. Like we did debriefs. We actually had the author of a book called Emotional Survivor for Law Enforcement come and talk to our agencies, this is all good stuff that we did.
Sure.
But it wasn't until one officer was brave enough to say, I'm not good right now. Like, I'm not processing this the right way. And then all of a sudden, about 6 other officers said, yeah, me neither. Like, so all of that was going on in these officers' heads from that incident, but didn't come forward. They were just trying to brush the dirt off. They're trying to make a go of it, and they weren't able to do that. And what they did that was helpful is through the COPS program, the Concern of Police Survivors, they actually went down to a co-workers retreat. So they're all co-workers that have lost an officer in the line of duty. And they did some post-traumatic stress therapy with them. It's some LED light therapy. It's been proven to work. It actually worked for, I think, most of them, you know, whether it was long-term or not, but I think that was like a huge thing for them. And so they found a way to kind of process it in the right way. Totally different from how I need it, but they found what they needed. But it took someone coming forward, you know, and you know, we have different generations now, right? So
Yeah.
our generation, I don't want to speak for you, we're kind of on the line of keeping a lot of stuff to ourselves and just processing our feelings a different way. The newer generations are more in touch with using others for mental wellness. And what we're seeing is that's happening in policing as well. So it's a good thing, but for us, like old schoolers, it's also kind of like, okay, well, you know, is this needed or not? And anytime I get the feeling of that, because for those that don't know, I don't want to keep like talking in circles, but there's approximately about 130, 160, sometimes higher, sometimes lower, officers that die in line of duty every year. There is about 4 times that number that commit suicide. So suicide is for real in law enforcement. It's a stressful job. We see traumatic events all the time. It gets tough. It's tough hours that you're working. It's tough on your family. Often there's a high divorce rate in law enforcement. So there's a lot of things that are going on, right? And that can lead to a higher suicide rate. So I go back to where I was. So now we have us old schoolers that don't like to talk about stuff, but now we're kind of getting into an age where we're talking a lot more about stuff. We have a peer support program in our police department. We actually have a counselor that comes in every year that we have to sit in front of. We don't have to talk to him, but we have to sit in front of him. That old school person in me that says, you know, is this all necessary? Immediately gets shut down as soon as I say, if we save one person that was thinking those thoughts of suicide, then 100% it would be worth it and more, right? And that's kind of where I'm at. You know, not the most touchy-feely guy, I'll be honest, I'm not, but maybe I'm a little. But it's a different way of thinking. And, you know, coming from a place where I know that we've been through traumatic events and people have dealt with them differently and able to get through them, that's been great. And I wonder if that one person, when it came forward, if him or maybe the other 6, maybe they would have made a horrible decision to end their life or something like that. And we'll never know where they were at mentally or anything like that, but it's so important to you know, be there for each other and think about that. And the other thing that kind of irritates me as far as officer mental wellness is, you know, because I read I shouldn't read the comments, right? Like, you ever like see like articles and you don't want to read the comments, but you read the comments?
Yeah, I know.
So I read the comments, and the one that always gets me is that's what they signed up for, right? That's what they signed up for. Like, and that's tough. I mean, in a way, I guess that's true, right? But if we don't do it, who's gonna do it? It's a job that needs to be done. So if you're saying, okay, well, that's what we signed up for. Well, if we didn't sign up for it, someone else is gonna have to sign up for it. They're gonna do the same thing. And maybe we're entering this profession for the right reasons, and we are the right person for that job, but we might have some difficulty along the way, some unforeseen difficulty, because of the things that we see. And any cop that's been on the force for long enough could probably recite 5 to 10 calls that have stuck with them forever. I remember performing CPR on an infant. I remember many suicides. I remember many bizarre death scenes and stuff like that. And they stick with me. They don't stick with me and cause harm, but who's to say the next person doesn't? So, officer wellness, we're in a lot better place than we used to be. We talk about it a lot more. Us old schoolers just have to, like, you know, get through it, because saving that one officer from maybe making a horrible decision is definitely worth it in the long run. So, and then you know, we just got a bunch of new weight equipment, so also that physical component is there too. And I think me getting to where I was always a workout person, right?
Yeah.
So I was able to take out that aggression on something. And I don't know what people that don't work out do to take out that aggression. Like, I mean, if you get on a bike and you get mad on the bike, you're gonna bike a lot harder and you're gonna take it out eventually. And the bike's gonna eventually win. You're gonna feel like getting off that bike, you know? Same in the weight room. Like, you're gonna lift, you're gonna get that out. At some point, you're gonna get tired. You're gonna be like, okay, I'm done lifting, you know? I don't know what they do besides that physical stuff to get rid of that. But it's good to find something, some sort of outlet. Could be a hobby or whatever, but for me, it's definitely the workouts. So, kind of a somber tone. I feel bad.
No.
But it does need to be said, because
Very important.
it's not like officers want pity, but we just want to be understood.
Absolutely. It's Behind the Badge, KFIZ today.
Morning talk, city's hot. A new day, let's all start. Behind the badge, we'll stand tall through the ups and the fall. From the lack, hear the call. Behind the badge, we're